Hey guys, Eddie back here with Couch Talk. Welcome back to the show. If it's your first time here, as always, welcome to the show. Uh, Forgive my absence for a day or so. I've been a little bit under the weather, and of course, you see this thing on my nose. I'm still trying to be able to breathe at my full capacity, so if I have to cough a couple times here and there, we'll get through it. Wanted to definitely keep digging into our Bill of Rights series, though, and today we're going to go over the important Amendment number 4. So here goes. The right of the people to be secure in their house, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Again, immensely powerful amendment, immensely important in freedom to be protected. And it's important when we notice the word effects, that could mean a lot of different things. Mostly it meant missives, but it also meant, carriages, carts, cars, vehicles, things of that nature would be included in that nowadays. Something that I should mention to everybody, although I'm not sure I should, but it's important to note. So if a police officer stops your vehicle and says, "Do you mind stepping out while I search your vehicle?" Please note that under this amendment, you do not have to let them. Now, they are entitled to be able to search your vehicle for weaponry, for their protection alone. So, the classic trick is, they ask if they can search your vehicle, you say, "Certainly, officer, you may search my vehicle for weapons for your safety," and that entitles them to their customary search. Now, at that point, if they, for some reason, were to stumble on, say, cocaine, they would have to dump it out in front of you and say, "You never let me catch you with this again." Now, of course, that is not me offering you legal advice to keep cocaine in your vehicle. Let's be absolutely clear about that. As a matter of fact, I should go ahead and issue this disclaimer now. I am not officially giving you any legal advice whatsoever, and will remain that way for anything regarding anything legal ever for the entirety of my channel until such time as I gain a law degree, which I don't believe will be ever. So let's just have that said now and ad nauseum. But it's important to note the freedoms that this amendment offers. I would claim that the papers and missives of today are, they're innumerous in nature, but I would say they include phone conversations. I would say they include your emails, I would say even things, conversations held on like text, I would say would even be protected by this amendment. Now, the trouble with this is some of the waters get muddied when it gets along the lines of like things you post on forum sites and stuff like that. But in reality, I would actually say that it is this amendment that the DNC was in violation of more so than than infringing on your freedom of speech when they got in league with big tech to start shadow banning people, because it's this amendment that makes it so that your missives can't be touched. And that's basically what government was doing. It wasn't so much that it was monitoring your free speech so much as wasn't so much as they were halting your free speech directly. Technically, it was a private corporation that was doing that. But those discussions are not actually property of that private entity, right? That's the difference between a platform and for example, a magazine, right? One who does publish the property of their proprietaryship. So if you if the government at any point in time looked into those communiques, that's essentially them monitoring things that they really have no right to monitor. Just like they would have no right to be listening at the other end of your phone conversation. You know, these are public conversations. They wouldn't be considered the property of AT&T or Sprint simply because you are hosting that conversation over that private property's communication circuitry. Now, despite the fact that some of these freedoms are very clearly spelled out, there are some notable violations. The Patriot Act is one that in particular seems egregious to me. Section 215 basically already has allowed the government to collect ridiculous amounts of phone conversations. And, you know, it's important to note that a lot of times I see us giving up our freedoms with these laws. And number one, I don't think that it's necessary to do so. But number two, and this is perhaps the more compelling factor, it's almost always done at the behest of fear, right? So we almost always strike these acts up in Congress. Like, for example, the Espionage Act of 1917, the Patriot Act, the Banking Secrecy Act. A lot of these acts, they come up right after there was something very critical in play. Like, for example, the Patriot Act showed up right after 9/11. We were all reeling from that injury, that wound. And what was the first thing that we wanted to do? It was like, dear goodness, please don't happen again, right? So that's the first thing we're thinking. And it got us to the point where we were ready to just sign over our freedoms just because we just didn't want to have that kind of devastating attack again. And guys, we've got to be better about that. We've got to, as a nation, protect these freedoms at all costs. The moment something bad happens, we can't just be like, okay, well, as long as it, saves us temporarily. Again, that famous Benjamin Franklin quote, you should never be ready to sign away essential freedoms for temporary safety, and that is exactly what we did here. And the Patriot Act has gone through a long string of abuses. And you know that Snowden, of course, was indicted under Espionage Act counts, but he was done so because of his reaction to essentially violations of the Fourth Amendment, because he saw how egregious all of this surveillance state had become, and that the NSA was routinely tracking phone conversations, emails, any kind of other electronic communique, and that is not okay. That is absolutely not okay. And it's something that we've gotten used to. It's something I think we've grown complacent with, but that is not okay. And one of the things I love about Tulsi Gabbard the most is that she wants to reel back both of these. It's a shame that both the Republicans and the Democrats don't seem particularly interested in doing so. And why would they, right? After you've given them power, why would they roll it back? But that's a mistake, guys. The Banking Secrecy Act is another one that I think violates this in truth, although it's a little bit less clear. But I would say that papers and effects would be included in like banking statements, banking records. Remember back in the day, it wasn't so much that banking records were just a matter of public record that the government could just go, march up and grab anytime it wants. Normally you need a warrant for that. And the only paper trail, if any, was usually between the banking party and the private citizen. So again, you would need a warrant to just start diving into that person's personal papers, their personal finance records, to have access to. Now, of course, we've made it a lot easier for the government to do this by, basically doing every single thing that we do in our life online now, which isn't helping, but that doesn't change the fact that warrants should be required for each and every one of these items. And guys, let me know what you think about this, because I know some of this stuff comes a little bit closer. The situation with the anti-money laundering compliance is at least they don't necessarily have to pull you directly for that information. They could go directly to the company, so it's a little bit different. But I would say that that's protected too. I know that phone conversations 100% should be protected. I know that emails 100% should be protected. I know that text communication should be protected, and a great many other things that we have basically signed over with this Patriot Act. And I pray that Congress repeals it soon. Hey, shit, McConnell wanted to do even more. He wanted to add to it, to the Patriot Act, giving them specific provisions to take even more freedom away, which drives me nuts. And I don't understand how we could do it. Thankfully, we have a couple of people that are willing to stand up to it, but not enough, guys, and we need to do better. Let me know what you think below. Please post your comments. If you have anything else that you think is related to this, that you think that we should go over in greater detail, please let me know. All right, I'll catch y'all next time.